Welcome to another broadcast of The Competitive Edge. One of the things that we all should strive to achieve is to avoid the Steve Jobs saga. And what exactly do I mean by this? The last thing that you want to have in your life is to be wealthy and unhealthy. Now, to avoid this, there are essential habits that you need to learn, apply, and master. And today we're going to have a pretty interesting conversation around the term habits. We're going to be looking at habits and health, habits and wealth, and habits and family. Of course, we're going to be showing how all of this relates to business. So I want to encourage you to call a friend and tell a friend that the competitive edge is on. And today we're going to be doing that deep dive into essential habits that you need to learn, apply, and master in your life. And the possibility exists that you will start to see massive changes taking place in your life. Today with me in studio, I have two dynamic personality. I have Paul Whitehouse. And Paul Whitehouse, he is a specialist in finance. He's the person that will say, you are approved. And if you don't have the right habits to access capital, he will be the go-to person that's going to really help you to understand how to nurture the right habits around preparing yourself to access the much needed capital to grow and scale your business. Along with that in studio, I have Frank Clement Frank. And Clement Frank, he's going to be joining us soon. Clement Frank, he is an economist by profession, and he is also a practicing leader. He has a lot of content around leadership, and it's an area that you will be learning a lot about. He will be talking a lot about the healthy habits that you need to adopt when you want to be a great leader in business and in life. Paul, just before we get started, or we're going to get started now, just before Frank returns, I want to welcome you to the program. And I want to ask you to introduce yourself. For those who might be looking at this program for the first time and don't know who is Paul White, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
hmm Yeah, thank you, Gary. Uh, Paul Whitehouse. We're from Northeast Ohio. I'm from Northeast Ohio. Our business is located there as well, and about 50 miles east of Cleveland, Warren, Ohio. So, who am I? Somebody who likes to help. I like puzzles. So, some deals are considered puzzles. Some are straightforward and easy. Others are hard to put together. And it's fun doing what we do. And what do we do? We provide capital for your business under many forms. Equipment financing, real estate financing, there's some cash flow. We don't just provide one service. We look at everything you need from an angle. Here's an example. If you're a truck driver and we're working with you to help you get a truck, financing for a new truck or a used truck, one of the questions I'm going to ask you is, how's your accounts receivable doing? Because every truck driver uses factoring, and not every truck driver is satisfied with the factoring company that they're using. So if you're satisfied, there's no need for me to break up a good thing. But if you're not satisfied, then as a consultant, I'm going to introduce another thing that we do to round out the package to help you more. Because every dollar that you save, and that's our goal for saving money, every dollar that you save goes directly to your bottom line. More money for you, more profit. And that's what we do. Patriot Business Finance Consultants. We're ready to work with you.
All right, thanks for that, my friend. As I said, Paul is the guy that's going to really help you navigate the financial world and ensure that you get the right habits to get access to capital. So now we have Frank. And what I want to ask Frank to do before we get started deep into the program is just introduce yourself So those who might be looking at this program for the first time, they are now getting a clear idea as to who is Frank. I said you're an economist, you're a leader, but they want to hear it from you, not from me. All to you.
All right, thanks, Gary, and good morning to listeners. Um, I usually like to say I'm frank by name and nature. I tell you as it is.
Mm,
Apart from being an economist and leader and being a um, trained in leadership development, one of the things I like doing is helping people, teaching people, showing people how to be the best leader that they can become or attain in life. And one of the things that we cannot not have good leadership. But it's in the home, in the society, in politics, good leaders are desperately needed. And so what I'll be doing is basically sharing ways on how you can develop yourself from an ordinary to the best leader, whether in the home, office, or field.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. Well, those who know me, I wear many hats. I'm like the Toastmaster, in name and nature, like Frank. All right. I'm a multiple. I have written many books. My most recent book is Master the Sales Communication Process. You can go to Shopify. You can go to our website and get all of those books. I'm a private equity investor. There's so much more, but I'll take the rest of the day just talking about me. So I'm not going to do that. What I really want to get into today is today's topic: habits and health, habits and wealth. When I focus on this concept, habits and wealth, one of the first things that comes to mind is that I never want to end up like a great mind, and that's Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was extremely wealthy, but he was also extremely unhealthy, and we lost a great mind very early. I could only imagine his presence in the world today, what the world would have been like. So, looking at his lifestyle and his outcome in life, in terms of his health, it has really taught me to adopt five important principles for life. And I have built healthy habits around these things. And I'm really trusting that you in the world, you can perhaps take away something from this. I do believe it's important to have healthy habits around rest. Rest is absolutely important. It's important for you to have healthy habits around exercise. We cannot overemphasize the importance of exercise. It's important for us to build healthy habits around eating, our diet. It's important for us to build healthy habits around family. And last but not least, it's important for us to have healthy habits around our social lifestyle. If time permits, I will do that deep dive into each of them. And just to complement the areas that my colleagues will be looking at, I know Paul will be looking at habits in finance, Frank will be looking at habits and leadership. But let me take one of these concepts and I want to dive into it to really show the importance of building healthy habits around these five talking points that I've just established. Let's look at rest. Why is rest so important? There is something that is spectacular and special that happens when you rest. When you rest, that sleeping process, something happens that we call, you have an increase in what we call the melatonin. And I really want you to take some time to really look at this because when you're sleep deprived, you are serotonin deprived. And when you're serotonin deprived, it affects your prefrontal cortex, it affects your executive motor skills, it affects how you function in the workplace, it affects how you function in life. So, having rest, adequate rest, is so important because the nighttime melatonin translate into daytime serotonin, which is your high energy, that adrenaline rush to get things done. And when you're depleted of this, it really undermines how you function in the organization and function in life. So I just want to at least lay some of those groundwork here today. Again, as a high level overview, as time progresses, we will go deeper into this. One of the reasons that I'm going to be talking about this is because very often when we are looking at human performance and top performance in the organization, we tend to see through the lens of information transfer and academic content transfer, not taking into consideration that there's another a range of other things that must be considered when we are talking about enhancing human performance, helping human to self-actualize and optimizing productivity in the workforce. When we disregard these elements that I've just talked about, you're undermining progress within the organization. So I just wanted to at least lay that groundwork for our discussion. I want to come now to Paul. Would love to hear your standpoint on healthy habits uh, in terms of your business and what you do to really help the average person to access capital to move their vision forward.
Okay. Uh, well, as consultants, then we're looking for the best outcome. And we want to give them the information that will allow them to get the best outcome. So, I mean, in addition to us getting it done, and we have habits that we employ to get it done, which is calling people back right away, answering emails immediately, not 2 hours later, like moving quickly, uh, collecting the documents, when I interview a client, I give them all the information. I let them know the faster you move, the faster I can get this done for you. Because sometimes people will literally take a week to get me a few pieces of paper. You know, a good habit that I would want them to have, that I ask them, and it's my habit to do it. It's my habit to ask, and my hope that they would turn this into a habit for the future is, giving me all the information at one time, not 7 different documents sent in 6 different emails. Everything at one shot works for me, makes it easy on me. So that's a good habit. But we employ habits to get our job done quickly. But I think habits that a business can have that makes them very attractive to be financed. You can be ugly and be financed. It's going to cost you more money. You know what I mean? Difficult credit, you're looking ugly. It's going to cost you more money down, and the cost of money is going to be higher. But you can form habits to become more attractive. If you're very attractive to lenders, your money's going to be less expensive. And again, like I said earlier, every dollar that we save you in financing goes right to your bottom line. So it's less expensive. You make more money. Good habits are going to be paying their bills on time. I know that's the basic one. It's obvious, maybe easier said than done, but that's a habit that needs to be done. Having high cash balances, ending balance at the end of the month. If you're running 150,000 or 5 million through your bank account every month, your business account, but at the end of the month, you have a $500 balance, well, that's not looking so good. If you have a consistently high 30, 50,000, 5,000 if you're a small business, 10,000, 20, yeah, a consistently high balance in your bank account, ending balance. That is such a strong thing. Okay. I mean, I could go on and on, but there's several of them. I think I've talked enough. I think I've taken up 4 minutes of our time, but habits that make you easily financeable are easy to do. Just do them. If you're not doing them now, put them into effect, and it'll do nothing but help you.
Well, I really was chuckling to myself here, when you use the term ugly and get financed and then
Funny.
become more attractive. I think it's a beautiful figurative expression.
Makisha.
Um, what I'm taking away is that the ugliness is the level of your preparedness to access capital.
Right.
And your attractiveness is you really taking the time and ensure that you understand the pre-qualification criterias for funding, and you build up your organization above and beyond those pre-qualifications, so you become attractive. And because of those habits, everybody wants to do business with you.
Mhm.
And I can tell you, it always works. And I can share some experience. In the U.S., I work hard on both my FICO and PAYDEX, and I don't know where these financial institutions, find my data from. Do I know where to find it from because they sell data? But every so often, you're going to find a company, a financial institution is going to call you, and that's my experience, and say, hey, you pre-qualify for 500,000 US dollars. You pre-qualify for this. I just don't know where they're getting my details from, although I know. And they call you, and sometimes they say, how did you get my details? Some would be open enough to say it. But that is a record of being prepared. You want to be fundable. So I really love what you would have said there. I want to come over to Frank. I know, Frank, you are in the space of leadership and habits. I would love to hear your expert views on habits and leadership.
Thanks, Gary. I must say that leadership isn't for everyone. Not for everyone.
Okay.
Given the level of responsibility that leaders have to assume and the amount of mental and physical energy it takes to consistently guide teams toward a larger vision, serving in a leadership capacity can be overwhelming. Trust me, I know. But the best leaders find ways to replenish their reserve so that they can approach each day with a fresh mind, an open heart, and that drive to tackle whatever challenges they may face. And as simple as taking in the morning sunlight is a habit that a leader can try to emulate. Taking in the morning sunlight. Why morning sunlight?
Vitamin D, right?
Morning sunlight, right? And exposure is prone to increase serotonin in the brain, and it enhances mood throughout the day. I came out this morning and not in the best of, just tired. So I had to run downstairs, and the sunlight hit me, and it was like a little renewed energy, like that spark. So I could come back up and just focus on saying to you that the sunlight helps. And I've had the same experience with others. People wake up early in the morning and jog in places where they're early morning sunlight. Um, you feel more optimistic about your workday just from stepping outside, especially between the hours of 7 and 9, and you're taking that sunlight for 10 to 15 minutes, right? As a leader, you always have meetings. But one of the good things I've learned is that you should and try to keep the first 2 hours meeting free. And one of the things I've seen in most successful CEOs is that they leave the first 2 hours of the day free from meetings, and they use this time staying up on current events, doing upper level strategy, and prioritizing other work they need to get done. The beauty is that it allows that CEO to begin the day in a strategic space before they enter into a tactical space for the remainder of the day. Another habit to inculcate is reflect on specific questions. Daily reflection itself is not unique. However, I would always encourage my team to reflect on 2 specific questions daily to drive their success as leaders. First one is, what have I learned? what have I learned? And what am I grateful for? You see, these questions foster a growth mindset. It improves resilience and decrease stress. It is physiologically impossible to be stressed and grateful at the same time. So, what I'm saying is that I think that reflect, do a little self introspection, recall it. What have I learned from the mistake? What have I learned from my success? And am I grateful for it? And so as we go on, I bring up some more habits on how to address this.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. Um, I did take some notes in terms of the 2 hour space, to ensure that you refresh yourself on the task at hand. Might be your strategic plan, and you focus your energy on the what has to be done. So I think it's a good ideas. I want to go back to the importance of rest, and then I look at the importance of exercise. Um, I did start at the beginning of this program by looking at the importance of rest because it helps with your executive motor skill. In the world of work, in the world of business, you want to be ensured that you're sharp, if not all of the time, most of the time, because it is your mental alertness, it is that sharpness that is going to help you to make the best business decision. That's what's going to help you to be analytical. The 2 hours that Frank is talking about, those hours is the hours that you want to spend think tanking and brainstorming. Those hours are the hours that you want to spend perhaps doing your data analytics, because it's by collecting those data, doing your data analytics is going to help you to apply yourself more effectively from that standpoint. And when you are sleep deprived, it really affects, all right, how you function in the organization and in life. So building healthy habits around your sleep-wake cycle, it's important. I just want to emphasize that. I want to move on to the second concept. And the second concept here is exercise. Why is exercise so important? One of the exercises that I do, and I try to do this as often as possible, when I can do it, I do it in the morning and I do it in the evening. My go-to exercise is Shotokan because I practice martial arts. And I find that practicing more martial arts does a whole lot for me. One, it raises your self-confidence. It helps in your mental alertness. It helps in your physical well-being. It helps with your mental health. All right, and overall you get better health because of exercise. What I notice is that when I put myself out there and I exercise, I can breathe better and I have more better air circulation. Again, anyone who might encounter not having adequate oxygen going to their head, I can recall I have a colleague many years ago. I haven't seen her in a bit, but she was saying that she has a problem with air going to her brains because of blockage in her nostril. And it literally affects, it shuts her down. But exercise, all right, can help in that air circulation. So there's so much of benefits to exercise. So I want to encourage you to make this a daily habit and take 15 minutes, a half an hour, and exercise. I know Paul might agree with this because he practiced Shotokan too. I do skipping, I do jogging, but guess what? When I do martial arts, it's the fastest way to get my body pumping, the blood pumping, and I start sweating. Within 2-3 minutes, I am sweating. And what research has also showed is that when you exercise and you allow the glands to open, the body to sweat, it's you want to exercise to this boiling point. So I want to encourage those, build healthy habits around exercise. All that I'm saying might sound divorced from the workforce. Oh my bro, but it's 101% relevant to how people perform in the organization. So I just want to leave that point there. Paul, I don't know if you want to add anything to exercise and Shotokan before you go back at habits around business and money. You're mute, Paul.
Okay. I'll tell you what it made me think of is that there's physical and mental habits.
Yeah.
And exercises. You can do the math in your head. That's something to stay sharp so you never forget math. I mean, I rarely use a calculator. I was not good in algebra in high school, but now I can break down the exact 17.3% of 500,000. I mean, math is now I can just do it, but I do it in my head instead of a calculator just to try to stay sharp. I don't know if it's working. I don't think it is, but I'm trying.
It's working.
But I think there's, and then other mental exercises in preparation for business would be rehearsing how you talk if you're in sales, role play. And if you role played with another fellow salesman every single day, customer, salesperson relationship, you know what I'm saying? That keeps you sharp. Pick what type of customer you are. I do this. I'm doing this right now with a new consultant I'm training. I'll pick a identity. I have difficult credit. I own a construction company. I need a dump truck. I've been in business for more than 5 years. We're making a lot of money, but I have a 600 credit score. That's who I am. And her role is to talk to me as if she's the consultant. Then we'll do that. Then we'll flip roles immediately. So there's all types of exercises. If you choose an exercise, I think punching, kicking, karate, boxing, all that involves more than if you're nothing against running, but if you're running, you're just thinking on running and you're in endurance. If you're like punching and if you got a punching bag in front of you, you're not just punching it. You're hitting them in the head, then you're hitting them in the chest. You're like you got mental exercise going. You're thinking while you're doing. So it's not just. I think that's one of the best forms of exercise. Something that causes you to think while you're doing. That's important. But yeah, physical exercise very important. Mental exercise is extremely important. It keeps you sharp. Maybe it prevents Alzheimer's
Alzheimer?
like that. Keep your
Yeah,
brain.
yeah. I did a research many years ago, and what they were saying is that the more you use your brains in the right way, it helps to mentally awaken, mentally alert, and it helps to push back, gives you that pushback on Alzheimer's. But I think it's much more than just how you use it. And perhaps when I talked just now about, the next one, which is healthy eating, habits around eating, it's another great factor that's going to influence the overall function of body and brain. But you're finished, Paul? I mean, I know I cut in there. All right, I want to great. I want to come now to Frank. I would love to hear your take on leadership again. Perhaps if you want to chime in a little bit on exercise. But what are the essential? How do you view these habits from your standpoint? You have been in the field for quite a number of years, and I know that you can draw on your rich experience on some of these importance.
Thanks. One of the things is that we know that physical activity plays a vital role in our lives. But some of us don't realize it has potential to help us develop and to become better leaders too. You see, leadership is a complex concept that encompasses qualities such as effective communication, problem solving, decision making, conflict resolution. And all of these are essential for successful management. And it stands to reason then that if leaders can incorporate more physical activity in their daily lives, they may enjoy increased productivity and improved performances in the role. Now, for some of us, it sounds strange, but various studies have explored that there's a link between physical activity and leadership performance. Results indicate regular physical activity can improve concentration and focus. Physical activities can reduce stress and increase self esteem. All of these attributes are essential to being an effective leader. A study by the Center of Creative Leadership found that physical activity has potential to boost creativity and imagination in leaders. It boosts creativity and imagination in leaders. So this opens a range of opportunities for individuals in their managerial roles to think more innovatively and develop creative solutions for complex issues. And this is something often required from successful business leaders. Furthermore, physical activities contribute to improved decision-making skills and increase self-awareness by providing a platform for introspection and reflection on oneself. Leaders with a good self-awareness can identify their strengths, can identify their weaknesses, and effectively delegate tasks to others. As a result, they can better lead their teams and make informed decisions that benefit the company. Physical activity, as it reduces stress, it's like stress reduction. And this can be especially important for leaders who often face high pressure situations. You see, when you reduce stress levels, it can lead to improved decision making and even interpersonal skills. It also offers both short term and long term benefits for mental well being. So, when you're engaging in exercises, it stimulates the release of endorphins, which are natural mood elevators, helping to reduce stress levels and promote a sense of calmness. Exercise also provides a healthy outlet for channeling negative emotions and it serves as distraction from everyday stresses. Additionally, physical activity improves sleep quality and helps regulate the body's stress response system. I smile because this is something I lack sometimes in sleeping. But if I get the full 8 hours of sleep, most times it's impossible. My body will regulate and my response system will lower cortisol levels. But over time, these combined effects contribute to a more resilient and balanced state of mind, allowing individuals to better cope with stress and maintain the optimal mental health. For leaders and individuals alike, incorporating physical activity into your daily routines can significantly enhance your ability to manage stress, which will ultimately lead to improved decision making, interpersonal skills, and overall well being. Of course, physical activity and being disciplined or organized um, will involve setting goals, involve maintaining a routine, developing self-discipline. And these skills can be transferable to leadership roles, which helps leaders stay organized and focused on their objectives. Think about a commitment to consistent routines and objectives. When we engage in regular exercise, we learn the importance of setting achievable goals, breaking them down into smaller steps, and persistently working towards their targets. And this process not only helps improve physical fitness, but also cultivates mental fortitude and self discipline as individuals must overcome challenges and maintain motivation despite the setbacks. And furthermore, the satisfaction derived from accomplishing fitness goals can bolster self-confidence and encourage the pursuit of other objectives in various aspects of life. You see, the discipline and goal-oriented mindset developed through physical activity can be invaluable in leadership roles. These skills are transferable to managing teams, setting organizational targets, and navigating complex challenges in the professional sphere. Over to you, Gary. You're on mute.
Yeah, I was saying that was indeed a lot of information. And I'm really trusting that, rising star in business, or perhaps those who are in business who may not be practicing some of what we're talking about, you have some food for thoughts here. Because, very often in business, we are focusing on the bottom line, not taking into consideration all of the other factors that really affects the bottom line. One of the things that we often talk about is what practical steps can we take to ensure that you have a highly motivated workforce. As a private equity investor, one of the things that we're going to consider is your workforce. And if we recognize that, your corporate culture is not designed to nurture that highly motivated workforce, as a private equity investor, you're going to start to think if the organization can really manage the funding that you want effectively. Because when you have an organization that is not designed to motivate the workforce, you tend to have several things happening. With a demotivated workforce, you're going to have absenteeism. With a demotivated workforce, you're going to have staff turnover. With a demotivated workforce, with all of these things happening, you have to go through a cycle of selection, of recruitment, selection, placement, acclimatization, and all of that slows down the organization ability to cash flow optimize. So to manage an operation effectively, everything that we're talking about when we need a highly motivated workforce is absolutely necessary. You too, as a leader, you need to pause a bit and look at these important issues. Again, the last thing that you want to have is a Steve Jobs saga, where he became one of the wealthiest, men in the world, but he was, very unhealthy. And very early in his life, he succumbed to cancer. So that brings me now to another talking point, which I call eating habits. I don't know where we got it from, although I think I know where we got it from. We are socialized to eat multiple meals per day. You have your breakfast, you have your lunch, you have your dinner, and in between all of them, you have a snack. And again, what research is showing, when you eat as much as you eat, especially the wrong things too, even when you eat the right things, this happen, the body has to break those foods down in digestion, which means that if the body has to break those food down, you're working more mentally, you're working more physically. And in some parts of the world, we talk about the fooditis. As soon as you finish eating, what happens? You tend to feel tired, extra tired, because the body is working. What the scientific research is actually showing is that the less you eat the right food, it's better for the body. Why? Because the less food that you're eating is the less breakdown the body has to do. And the less breakdown the body has to do is to better able the body now that you free up more time for the body to heal itself, all right, and for the body to function at its best. So we cannot talk high performance and sustain high performance in the organization divorced from looking at the broad ecosystem of issues that make up that human element. The human factor is not just academic theory and academic practice, but the human ecosystem is representative of everything that we're talking about. You need rest, you need exercise, you need, healthy eating habits. And there's so much that I can get into in terms of eating. I just want to do surface level analysis today, but I'm going to give you a hint on what I'm talking about. We need to be so careful about what we're eating today, because of population growth and the need to increase productivity. There's a lot of GM, genetically modified food. And is there enough information out there in terms of how GM affects us? Because the body has to break down not just the essential minerals which the body needs. The body now has to break down these artificial substance that is thrown into the earth, absorbed into the food. The body now has to break that down. That's a long story. I'm not going to get into all of that today. But what I'm saying, when we are concerned about humanity and we are concerned about optimizing human performance, we cannot turn a blind eye to these things. All right, because turning a blind eye to these things could be the very same things why human development and human growth and human mental executive motor skills is not where it ought to be, because you have all of these other factors that is prohibiting that natural progress, that natural development from taking place. So my last word on this point is eat less and eat more of the right foods. What is the right foods? It may vary from person to person. Based on your blood type, you need to talk to your doctor, because none of us here are projecting ourselves as doctors. We are researchers, and we are bringing this rich content of information to you because we believe it's relevant to how a people grow, how people function, and an organization benefit from all of that. Paul, any thoughts? I'd love to hear from you again. I know your area is habits and money. What are additional essential habits and business and money and access to capital that you think the listening public needs to focus on?
I don't think there are any others. It's really very simple. It's all the things that you can think of. If you want to be attractive to lenders for financing, and we already know this, you
Yeah.
should pay the bills on time. And if you haven't, then you're probably not as attractive, but you can still get financed. So I
Yeah.
think, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, you made a strong point early on. And I find many rising stars in business, they struggle with this. You talk about a healthy balance sheet for, a few months to perhaps a few years. Because what I've seen is that there are many financial institutions that may want to do business with you. But if you cannot front at least 3 months of positive bank balance, and when I say positive, it should be above 10, 15, 20,000 US dollars. If you're not able to show that, they don't want to really do business with you, because they want to know that you're able to cash flow. So that's a very, very important point that you would have made. So part of being prepared, part of being attractive, is to take the time to understand what are those pre-qualifications that the international financial institutions are looking for, and it's to ensure that you can cover those groundwork. If they're perhaps looking for 3 months of consistent bank balance above 15,000, perhaps you want to carry to 25,000, perhaps you want to carry to 50,000. because the more you're able to show in the bank balance over a long period of time, positive bank balance, is going to really influence how those financial institutions work with you. In my experience, also in dealing with clients and many financial institutions, the better your balance look over a few months period, you're not only able to get capital at low interest rate, they give you further incentives, further, benefits, where they would say to you, okay, for the next 6 months, you have 0% APR to pay on the funding that they're going to allocate to you. So I am emphasizing this because I want the public to really get a genuine idea that you want to help them. But sometimes, sometimes we know what they need, and sometimes we say it too fast. They just don't get it. So I just wanted to amplify a part of what you would have said there. Perhaps you may have some more to add there, Paul. Love to hear from you.
Okay. Well, yeah, strong financials. Strong financials means carrying high bank balances. There's the amount of gross revenue that you do in your business has a corresponding average bank balance. If
Yeah.
you're doing 100 million a year in sales, your average bank balance should not be $30,000 a month. Your ending balance, it should be a lot higher. So everything's corresponded to your revenue, and you can get financed. Like I've said many times on this show, financing is available to everybody. If you don't have strong financials or the right credit score, our lenders, money down turns a no into a yes. As long they have to be secure. But if you have the right habits, and the right habits are easy to understand, it's pay the bills on time, keep money in the bank, keep your account, keep your financials looking strong. Those are the basics of it. It's not rocket science. You don't even have to go to college to understand those three things. That's how you run a business. If you're doing that, then the lenders look at you a lot different. Cost of money is less expensive. Now, when you mentioned 6 months, 0% interest, that's for the type of lend, one of the types of lending that you do, that private unsecured debt, but that doesn't that's not with equipment financing. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm going to be able to get them 6 months, no 0%.
You're correct. I mean, you represent your portfolios. I have no problem with that. I am just presenting to them some of the portfolios that we have and what we can help them with. And that's how diverse we are. Paul deal with specific financial instruments. I deal also with a range of financial instruments, including credit. Because we would talk about credit and trade lines as some of the low-hanging fruit in terms of access and capital. So thanks for clearing that up, Frank. I call you Frank, Paul.
I know.
I'm changing your name. All right. So the key here is habits and preparedness. If you want to really make it in business, you need to understand what are the moving parts. You need to be like the proactive leaders, where you're thinking ahead, you're seeing beyond problems, and you're now able to take informed action to achieve a desired end results. What we can do because of our experience, we can share those experience with you, so you understand how to better prepare yourself and for success. Is where we call you can influence the predictable outcome. Because of our experience, we know practical steps that you can take, pitfalls that you should avoid, ways in which you could accelerate your pace towards achieving those financial objectives. Frank, Paul, you're finished?
All wrapped up. I'm good.
Awesome. All right. So, Frank, your thoughts, and then we're going to start to wrap up after your presentation. But Paul, Frank, let me say a couple of things here because I left out here on habits. I talked about 5 important habits that we all should try to adopt. We talk about habits and rest, habits and exercise, habits and eating, habits and family, and habits around socialization. I want to talk briefly about habits and family. One of the things that I think is touching, when you work hard, you build wealth, and you have no one to enjoy it with you. And I've seen many, many persons end up like that. There wasn't much emphasis on family. And I just want to say, focusing on family and building healthy, productive relationship with family, it is so, so, so important. It's an essential habit to form, to have. In one of my books, I can distinctly remember a quote, and what I said is that family is an extension of you. All right. So when you have family and you really, nurture them up in the right way and to do good thing in the world, guess what? When you would have gone to meet your maker, they continue that legacy. And when you're thinking legacy, family is definitely a healthy extension. So I just wanted to add that. And let me bring it back to business. So you start a business, you scale a business, you're now going global. What happens when you die? Now, when we study some of the folks who have built America, they have laid a very, very good foundation in America, but that legacy didn't live on. All right. The legacy died a few years before they died, and some of it died a few years after they died because they did not have that legacy plan. And I could just imagine, because as I reflect back on some of the rich history that America has, they were some of the great minds who laid solid foundation to really help the world to understand pathways to success. All right. And but they died, and there's no continuity in that process. And family really helps you to build in that continuity factor to your legacy plan. So I just want to share that. So I'm trusting that rising stars in business, you really understand the importance of family. One more thing I want to share on this point. I could recall it many years ago interfacing with, mom and kids, and dad passed away, and the kids felt as though mom was so deep into the business that mom had absolutely no time with them. And these are kids that was bitter. And the mom on the other side, because I was interfacing with both sides, the mom was saying, I'm trying to do everything that I can do for these kids, but they are not seeing the benefit of what I'm doing. Perhaps what she was doing is bringing the food to the table, ensuring that the money is circulating. But the kid that wanted more, the kids that wanted family time, bonding, connecting, family recreation, doing things together, having fun together. They didn't have that. So all of them started to rebel against her. And I was like, my God, here you have success on one side, and here's where you have family chaos on the other side. So there's no legacy that is going to continue there. That vision that the father started, that the mom continue, is going to die with the mom because there's no coordination, there's no preparation to pass the baton. And when you're building a global business, that's the last thing that you want to do. So I'm going to pause here. Frank, all to you.
Thanks, Boy. I'm happy that you raised the point. Um, and this is so common because there's a lot of family who are successful financially, but they're not emotionally there for the rest of the family. So yes, they provide all the physical attributes, but family is more than just the physical, more than just the food and the building which they live in. So they're just living in a house or a mansion. It's not a home. A home is where you find love, you find the emotional connection, and so on. And I remember, uh, Paul may remember the Mahogany, Diana Ross and Billy D. Williams. And there's a scene where she was telling him with all passion that she has to have success. And even if she has to leave the relationship, she has to have success. And he profoundly said, success is good, but it's not good at the cost of your loved ones. and it resonated with me. The thing about it is that we can get all these material things, which will die and leave. We leave a physical legacy. And the thing about physical legacy is that it can be easily squandered. You always have a smart aleck who will know how to come legally and take that from you. Prescriptive rights and so on is one of those ways. But if you leave memories of joy, happiness, time togetherness, the way you spent breakfast when you went on vacation, those are lasting memories, generations to come. And you're setting an example that the younger generation can look up to and inculcate and carry on from generation to generation. You see, the thing about it, we have to realize that the tangibles, those things that you can see and touch, do not last forever. But the intangibles, the things that you can't see and touch, the love, the empathy, the emotion, the concern, the care, can't see and touch them, but they last forever. And so that's what we must get in our minds when we're thinking about success. Success is good, but it's not worthy if there's no one to share that success with. We all will die, as you say. And what are we leaving that is quote unquote success? Thanks.
All right, great points, Frank. I love how you emphasize on that. I want to come back to Paul. Paul, I don't know if you want to chime into family, the importance of family. I know you spoke a lot about your family. I admire the fact that you took that day off when you went to your daughter's graduation not so long ago. But I want to hear your thoughts on the importance of family in the whole equation of business. And then I'd love to have your not your closing remarks, some of your last words, because I'm going to come back to you to talk about finance at the end of the program.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously it's important. It's a big world. It's certainly, and there's some people out there, and I'm not saying that it's actually true that you can live without love, but there's people out there living without love. There is. Somebody's sitting there, they don't care.
They're suffering in silence.
They are.
They're
Maybe not.
suffering in silence.
Maybe
A
they
man
just,
shouldn't live alone.
yeah. I mean, maybe they just think that's the way it should be, but for the wide majority of all of us out here, then we love our families and it's important. So I guess to answer that, just don't work all the time. Don't spend your money. Give your kids their inheritance now. Don't make them wait till you die. Chunk by chunk, bit by bit. Help them out. Set them up in things. Obviously, don't spoil them, but set them up in scenarios so they got success. If they need help, help them. Help other people with money. Invest it into other people. Give it to other people. Do whatever you want. It's yours. Do whatever you want. But don't hoard it because it's just paper and you definitely can't take it with you. So just do good things with it. Now, related to your family, don't work all the time. Spend time with them. Tell them you love them. Show them you love them. I think I think all this stuff's pretty simple. So many things are simple that it doesn't even require us to pretend we're smart on it. We could wrap this show up real quick. Every answer real quick. Here's what you do. Love everybody. Show it to them. Don't work yourself to death. Spend time with them. All the basics. I would like to add to it to try to sound smarter, but I don't know that I can because, right? If you don't spend time with your loved ones, they're not going to remember you after you die. And I really like what Peter does and says with Legacy Chronicles. It's very cool to write write a book That way you're telling your story to your kids, to your grandkids, to your great-grandchildren, and then your great-great-great-grandchildren who might not have ever seen you other than a picture of you on the wall. So literally, if you could just tell that story to them, tell it to them while they're alive. Like I said, tell it to them while they're alive. Tell them about yourself while you're alive. They want to know what you were like when you were a kid, all the cool stuff that you did, the crazy stuff that you did, even the stuff you don't think that you should tell them because it's kind of funny. They'll know that their mom or dad had some personality, right? Uh, yeah, so that's it. That's me on family. Love them up.
Gotcha. The importance of family. I love that share. All right, Frank, your thoughts, your closing remarks. You're mute, Frank.
Yes, I'm going to just say that the best and fastest way for leadership to get a better team and better results is to become a better manager, investing time, money, energy into building your leadership skills can show a return on investment for the rest of your life. And I just leave four physical and mental things that you can do to strengthen your leadership skills. I'm not going to dive into it, but build better physical and mental habits. Frank Outlaw says, watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. So, to create that long term sustainable success as a leader, you need to create habits which can sustain the test of time. So, if you have a poor attitude, it can degrade the best team. Poor physical health can degrade the results or even the highest performer. And one of the best ways to build better habit is to track your actions, keep track of your daily behavior. You can have a streak chart. See how many days in a row you can remove a bad habit and replace with a good one. Learn how to say and accept no gracefully. It's only by saying no that you can concentrate on the things that are really important that Steve Jobs that we discussed earlier. So strong leaders have learned how to say no. And they're comfortable receiving it. Weak leaders are the ones who say yes to everything. You know? Gather more information. Margaret Fuller says, today a reader, tomorrow a leader. Dr. Seuss says, the more that you learn, the more places you'll go. So strong leaders are curious. Strong leaders need never stop learning. And so if you find yourself stuck with a problem, a customer, an employee, a team member, one of the best way to break free is to give yourself more options. And that's done by gathering more information. And you increase your chance of finding the correct solution. All right? Do a walkabout. It was Frederick Nietzsche says that all truly great thoughts are conceived by walking. And did you know that early humans developed their superior intellect by walking? You see, by standing and walking, you increase the blood flow and oxygen to your brain. You have evolved to walk and think. Additionally, strong leaders have learned that many good things come from walking around. You learn about problems quicker. You connect with your team, and you free your mind to be creative. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. I do believe that I trust that the listening audience would have enjoyed today's program. We didn't spoke today as professionals in the field. We spoke from the standpoint of being research oriented. We research data, we analyze data, we use data, and we are presenting some of those findings to you. Frank, the last one that I want to make before I come to Paul to talk to us a little bit about the BFC, I want to say this, building a healthy lifestyle around socialization is very important. In one of my books, I explain that relationships is the mother of all social system, and you want to ensure that you're investing your time, your talent, and resources to build the right relationships with the right people. And perhaps you're a rising star in business. You need to build relationship with bankers. You need to build relationship with private equity investors. You need to build relationship with sales communication professionals. You need to build relationship with CFOs. You need to build relationships with a wide range of talent, because it is through that socialization and those relationship, invest in those relationship, is going to make your journey to success much easier. So I want to encourage you, reach out to us, and you can build relationship with Paul. He's going to help you with access to capital. You can build relationship with Frank. He's going to really help you to develop a growth mindset, a leadership mindset, and how to apply those concepts to be successful in your life. I want you to build relationship with this ecosystem here, because we are not here just for the talk and just for the gap. We want to empower and inspire you to take action, inform action, to achieve the rich potential that you have within you to achieve. But you can't procrastinate. All right. You have to take action. We are here to provide the information. And our biggest objective here is to give you that push to take ownership over your life, over your dreams, over your aspirations, and taking ownership of it, meaning that you are taking action now. So with that being said, I want to come to Paul next. Paul, to just talk to us a little bit about the BFC and what is the vision for that project.
Okay. A business BFC stands for Business Finance Consultant. And the vision is, if you want a new vision for your life that involves high income and new knowledge, let's do it. Work with us. What's a business finance consultant? I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. You consult on business finance and then you make it happen for them. That's what we do. So you would be providing equipment financing, the ability to finance equipment if they have difficult credit, and who are you going to be talking to and how are you going to get a hold of them? We're going to teach you that. We're going to teach you how to market yourself, how to put yourself on LinkedIn, how to put yourself on Facebook, set up a business profile, connect with business owners, send them messages. It's that simple. Make appointments. It is that simple. You make enough appointments, at an average salesperson is 25% closing ratio. So if we make 10 appointments, if you're average, you should make 2 deals. We're going to teach you how to get those 10 appointments. Now, if you make 2 deals, how much money can you make? I mean, if you do a real small deal, like a $10,000 equipment lease, which we don't like doing, we'll do it, but we don't like doing it. Then you're going to make $250. That's it. But what if you do a $150,000 equipment lease? How much money will you make? You'll make a lot. Let me think about it for a second. 115, 700, probably make $1,800 off that. You'll make 25% of our profit. So we're here to help people. You all know business owners. I know that you do. You either got a family member who's a business owner, or a friend, or a friend's friend. Everybody's got business owners in their circle. And if the ones after you touch everybody in your circle and let them know who you are and what you do, and take on that new role, that new identity for yourself, that you are a business finance consultant, that you are the person that business owners are going to go to when they need money, financing for their projects. We're going to teach you to take on that role. So, and after you've exhausted your circle of people, then you're going to get on LinkedIn, you're going to get on your Facebook, you're going to identify people, you're going to send messages. These are the skills of sales. And if you're a business owner in any respect, you have to be an expert in sales. These are things that we talk about a lot: sales, communication, mastering communication, subject matter expert. You're the subject matter expert. Now, you might be saying right now, I'm not. How could I do that? Business finance sounds so mysterious. It's not. It's very simple. I will teach it to you. I will turn you into an expert. You got to cooperate. You got to want, I can't be the only one who wants you to be an expert. You got to want that too. But if you are that person, then we want to work with you. Why would you want to be that person? It's a high paying career. Do you want to make more money for your family? The answer is probably yes. Do you want to leave money for your family? Do you want to teach your kids how to do big things? The answer is probably yes. If it is, then paul@patriotbfc.com. Email me, DM Gary, get a hold of him, coordinate, put us both together with you, set an appointment with us, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about making a lot of money together. One more thing. If your average commission on a sale is $2 to $4,000, well, then ask yourself how many deals you put together per year. How many can you actually put together? Could you put together, 100 of those deals? That's $200 to $400,000. I think you probably could. The reward is high. We can do a lot of things when the motivation is high, and the motivation is high. So there you go.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. What I want to say to potential BFC is that you have to develop the habit of thinking big, because take it from experience. We have a lot of experience here. The same effort and energy that you're going to be putting into a very small project is not much more that you have to leverage to put into a big project. All right. So when you think big, you set yourself up to earn an unlimited amount of capital as a BFC, a significant amount of return. And you owe it to yourself. So regardless of public's perception of where you are, they might say that you're a failure, you're whatever. I want to say this to you, that you have within you the potential to be great. And what myself and Paul and our team will do with you is really work with you to really help you to activate that greatness that you have inside of you. We're going to train you to become a ninja. You didn't use that word, Paul, a ninja when it comes to business finance consultant. You're going to learn the process. You're going to learn how to apply the process, and you're going to master that process. And because you're going to have all of this to your advantage, you're going to be well placed and well positioned to become financially independent in a shorter period of time. All right, this is a platform that you can make money for yourself. Once you're taking yourself serious and you want to grow, you want to expand, as a BFC, you just can't go wrong. And as Paul said, you need to understand sales. So the thing about it, everybody does sales, Paul. You're either good at it or you're bad at it. In this particular case, we're giving you the opportunity to be exceptionally good at sales. And we are not gaffing when it comes to this, because we have written multiple books on the sales communication process. You're going to learn about what is the pull factors of sales, what is the push factors of sales, what is sales objective, and how to align your thinking to master that entire process. So there's so much that you're going to learn. So just come into the community. You have mentors, you have coach, you have a supportive community that is going to be there with you to push you all the way to success. So with that being said, I want to say, go ahead, Paul. You're mute.
Yeah, just one more thing to add real quick. When I say full training and full support, I mean full training, fully trained. We will train you on all aspects of what we do. I'm going to ask you to start off in equipment financing, because that's the quickest road to success. I want you to master one subject before we move on to real estate financing. But I got the system in place, so full training. Here's the most important part, full support. You might be thinking, so I'm going to get trained, then I'm going to go out and I have to do this on my own. No, you don't. No. Every appointment that you're on, you make the appointments. That's your main objective. I need you to have subject matter expertise, the knowledge, but that's going to come in time. That's not going to happen in a week or 3 weeks or even a month. To be a ninja, it takes a little bit of time, okay? Not 5 years, not even a year, but not a month. So your main job right now to make money, we want you making money right now. The main job to that is getting the customers. So get the customers, make the appointment, and the appointment will be made with me and you and the customer. Three of us on the call. You won't be on the call by yourself. What that's going to happen, I'm going to take over on the call. I'm going to explain the process. I'm going to diagnose their problem, offer them solutions, and close the deal. You're going to be watching deals getting closed and how to close them. First, you're going to see the explanation of the program. And once you hear that 50 times or 100 times, and I pledge to you, I'll be on all those phone calls with you. You just set the appointments. And if you and if you get 100 appointments and you're and I'm above average salesperson and I'm going to be closing the deals. So we're going to close more than 25%. So let's say we close 30 or 35, let's just say 30, 3 out of 10. That leaves you with 30 deals. How much do you think 30 deals is going to make you? How much can you make on each deal? We're going to make as much as we can because we're capitalists and we're in business. We're going to make it fair for the client, but we're going to make a fair amount for me, you, and the team. So if you're making $3,000 per deal and we close 30, what's the math? 90,000 bucks. And then we got the rest of the year to do it also. So I've talked too long on something I said I'd be done with real quickly, but I need to know that you've got full support, and the level of support is different than the level of support anybody else will give you. I'm talking about being on every sales calls with you and closing the deal for you. When you hear deals close with your ears, 100 times, then you're going to be able to do it. So you get book smart and you get real life action smart, experiential. I'm done.
Great.
I'm out. I talked enough.
I love that share. What I want to add very quickly is a story to coincide with what you just said. I can recall listening to one of my colleagues who does similar to what we do. And the story goes that this young lady approached him in tears. She's in tears because her husband, who was a veteran, passed away. And he passed away with debt on the property. Of course, she doesn't know anything about VA loan and all of that. So what she did, she started to panic. And they put to her the possibility of, selling money. And my God, she spent some money, she learned the trade, and she became one of the best. Fortunate for her, during the training, she was a people person, and she was put also in contact with a real estate developer. And real estate developers, they always need money. So they was taking money after money for project after project from her. And in about 3 months, my friend, she was able to pay off her mortgage debt free, debt free. So I make mention of this just to demonstrate what you're saying. It's quite possible. Once you work hard at it, you apply all the skill sets that you're going to learn, you're going to become exceptional. All right. You're going to build wealth like a pro. So I'm going to give Frank the last word, the last word of what you say here, Frank, because I know you said a lot. I want to make you the equalizer now. Your last word before you wrap up, my friend.
I just do a combination of everything. Remember, your mental health is important. Your physical health is important. You are important. And if you want to be the best leader, your mental health, physical health is important. You can't be sickly and be the best leader, right? Leaders need to be strong, mentally and physically. That's my closing remarks.
All right, thanks for that, my friend. Remember, leaders need to be strong mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. All right, my friends. To the audience, do enjoy the rest of your week, and we do this again tomorrow. All right, thanks for joining. See you guys tomorrow.